Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are so excited, happy, and ecstatic to have with us today Nora Kaye and Whitney Uland from the brand new production that they both directed and wrote and star in, The Cosmos Sisters. Ladies, say hello.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Hi.
it's my pleasure. Thanks, Nora, for being here. Thanks, Whitney. That's the intro. That's We're talking about your brand new movie that's about to come out here, and I'm really excited for people to see it because it gives me Garfunkel and Oates vibes. Hardcore.
Wow, thank you. Thank you.
I'm
I was.
blushing. I'm blushing.
Are you? Thank you. No, I got that vibe from the two of you. This sisterhood, this camaraderie that the same that they have in their program that they do and in their music that they do. You guys really felt like sisters, even though you're technically best friends in the movie.
Thank
So we
you.
are
Thank you.
called the Cosmos Sisters. So, it is confusing. It's the sisterhood, the friendship, the lines.
That's right. It's the sisterhood of the traveling stars, the cosmos in this case. Right?
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
No, I really enjoyed everything that you guys were doing here. Specifically, like it's really funny, and I feel really bad for Nora's boyfriend in this movie. Poor
Fair.
bastard.
Yeah.
He's, he's just putting up with you guys, and you guys are just, you know.
Yeah, he really kind of has to be the adult in this movie as they like go down the rabbit hole of getting the band back together, and he's the one who kind of has to come in and be like, so you're not really existing in reality anymore. Let's pull it back.
I wanted to ask you guys about that because it seems like to me that the second that they get back together and start making music again, they just hit Arrested Development, go back to being like 17 years old again. Is that done on
Yeah,
purpose?
that was on purpose. Yeah, I think one of the things I love about this movie is it really, Nora, this was all shot in Nora's childhood home, and like both of us have a history of, making these kinds of bands in our high school and middle school and even younger than that. And so we really kind of wanted to capture that, the moment when you go home to, your parents' house and all of a sudden you are 17 again and you've kind of quit doing the things that you need to do to take care of yourself and your physical and mental health. And all of a sudden you're just a kid again, whining on the couch. And so, yeah, that was definitely something that we wanted to capture.
I kind of get that because anytime me and my brother would go back home and the both of us would be together, we would immediately start fighting.
Yeah,
So I sort
100%.
of get it. And then whenever I get around my friends, because I used to be in a band, I was in a band for like 5 years. And
Amazing.
I used to make music, so I know how it is. Once you get with your dudes or your friends, like you just sort of devolve
Yeah,
slowly.
devolve is a great word. And it's like those like unresolved problems, all of a sudden, like you remember how important they were and the fact that like you never really got to have your way with them and they all kind of just come up to the surface.
I wanted to
There,
ask you guys about one thing. So Maddie, the character in there, she brings out the worst in your character, Whitney, and I really feel, was that done on purpose? Was there like a reason that perhaps Maddie's development's also arrested because she's still delivering pizzas?
Nor, do you want to speak to that or would you like me to?
well, we were just really interested in like the people who are still in the town. I mean, I go home to Northampton and you see people. I mean, a lot of people have like moved to Boston, but it's like close, and so everyone's still kind of around, and like there's still like those crushes or those people that and I do think that Maddie turns on something in Whitney that's like, okay, I have a crush on this person and I need them to know that I'm a star. And so it's like not only are they trying to do this for each other, it's also like, but also like the audience of high school, which you can never actually leave, unfortunately, it turns out.
No,
It's
that's true. It's totally true.
No, for real. My high school reunion was this last week and I wasn't able to go, but I just was like in my brain, I was like, I need to seem so impressive to these people for like no reason. It's like it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think like, Whitney's just trying so hard to make Maddie like her that, she's the first person that Whitney lies to about, bringing the band back together, and she just really wants to seem, I think Whitney's in such a dark spot before coming to this place that the Cosmo Sisters, the band, is really what she has to hang on to, and, wants Nora to hang on to that as well. So it definitely brings out the worst in her.
I think that Nora's propensity to lie means that she kind of needs it herself too. Would you agree, Nora?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. I mean, when you play someone who does villainous things, you do have to find ways to make them, make it make sense for you as an actor. And I really do think that Nora lies because she just wants, she wants to stay in that chrysalis that she's with Whitney in the barn, in the band, just joking and dancing and not having to deal with the external problems that exist outside the barn. So although it's an astronomical lie, I do think it comes from a really good place.
I don't think that she's a villain. I wouldn't say villain. I just think she's
she's struggling, and I think there's a lot of parts in the film. So my dad passed away about 6 years ago, and so a lot of the parts of Nora's character that are in that, if you were just to look at a scene, you'd be like, this woman is just crazy. But really, for me, those are pretty autobiographical of the places your brain goes when you're grieving, and just how badly you want to cling on to anything that you have from the past that feels like normal and feels like happy and feels like, I feel like death is so permanent, obviously. And so just trying to have something that also feels like going back and feels like happiness and levity again is, I don't know. I think Nora's lying is justified.
I actually relate to that more than you think.
Yeah.
I relate to that more than you think. My mom passed away back in March, and when me and my brother went back to where we went to high school, that's exactly what happened. It all just sort of coalesced to us, just devolving into these 15-year-old boys fighting each other, and we almost got into 3 or 4 fights with other people. Because that's what we used to do. We used to just go around and
Well, and especially in your grief, when your emotion, you kind of just become a live wire, and you're not really taking action from a cognitive place. It's pretty just gut impulses. And I mean, I remember after my dad died, I screamed at someone on the subway who had done me wrong, but my reaction was very disproportionate to what had happened. But I think that's something that we do when we're grieving, is do things that don't make sense.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
So raw. You're so raw, and you're just trying to find a place to, to be able to float a little bit. And I do think, even though Nora and Whitney have this kind of combative, you are a character that allows her to float and feel seen and remember herself and remember her mom. The Cosmo Sisters is also a lifeline to her mom.
Totally.
I only have a couple more questions, and they're fun questions. The first one. Good. Is you guys have worked together several times before. Why do you guys keep working together?
Why would you not when you're having that much fun? Yeah, I feel like we kind of have this rule of it has to be fun and it has to be rock and roll. And I don't know, just working together, it feels like coming home in a lot of ways, and working with I don't know if Nora would agree with this comparison, but for me, it feels like making movies with my cousins when I was a child. And it just that immediate familiarity, and that, being able, so much of our movie was improv and improvised, and just the jokes and the banter and stuff like that. And it's, why not? I don't know.
I know. I also think that what's wonderful is when we're writing, or when we're even just conceptualizing the aesthetic of the movie, we'll be well, it should be like this, and it's yeah, of course. There's just a shorthand. It's like cousins. It's we grew up in the same house with the same box of costumes. It's oh, of course we'll use the wigs, because that's what has to happen. Obviously the wigs.
That's funny. No, I was excited to watch the movie because I'd seen Hysterical Women before.
Oh, really?
I was okay, these ladies are pretty funny. Let's see how this goes. And it went
thank you.
About as well as I thought it was going to go. So my last 2 questions are the most fun questions I ask every guest, from Oscar winners to, the guy making his first movie on a $600 budget. I asked everybody these same 2 questions. And the first one is, you guys obviously love what you do, and you guys are really good at it, and you're great artists. Who are some people that you look to as inspirations, whether that be in the business or not?
I mean, I feel like this is kind of like a cheating answer, but I really, I think all artists, we struggle with imposter syndrome. And for me, that really manifests in like, oh, I can't be a real filmmaker because I only have training as an actor. And so I really just really have like look up to the multi-hyphenates that have, made that transition, whether it's Mindy Kaling, BJ Novak. I really loved his latest film, Vengeance, or
Vengeance is great, yeah.
um, yeah, I love that. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, like those kinds of creators, Issa Rae, making their own stuff and just able to like validate their own ideas that strongly. That's what I would say. Nora probably has a more creative answer.
No, that's such a good answer. And like we always talk about those people because we're like, they figured out how to like wear all the hats and like juggle it. And it's so beautiful when someone's vision is so clear. Like I don't know. I was thinking about back to this movie and I was like, we did make exactly what we wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's like people who are like fiercely artists and are so committed to vision. So it are these multi-hyphenates. This is a really random, but I was recently in Mexico and I went to Frida Kahlo's house and it was just like her whole house was like the same blue and her art was throughout her house. And I was just like, it's a totally different medium, obviously, but it's these artists that like really live in what they create and are just like so true to themselves. And so I don't know, it's from the Phoebe Waller-Bridges to the Issa Raes to the Frida Kahlos. It's just also brave, wonderful women.
I love that. I'm Latino, so I love Frida Kahlo, and I love all her artwork. And also, I have a huge crush on Issa Rae, so great answer. Love
Same.
her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I also love Greta Gerwig. I really feel like the new age arteurs are those multi-hyphenates, whereas old school arteurs were the guys who were uncompromising in their vision. They were only directors making what they wanted to make. Now I feel like it's total control over the project, like you guys.
And yet there's still this kind of amazing flexibility because it's like there's like a Phoebe Waller-Bridge talking about shooting her last season and then Hot Priest coming in and her just being like, and then he brought so much more. It's like not only do you come in with a vision, but you also have the space to have the flexibility to see when people are geniuses in their own right and then let that grow and bloom even more.
And I think that's the best positive of the modern art tour is their flexibility in their vision. It's like, oh, I kind of saw it this way. And like you guys improv most of the movie, you were just saying but you still made what you wanted. See, that's what's cool is you improved a lot, but you still made what you wanted. The last question is the most villainous question I will ask you today. It's also the most difficult one.
Okay.
If you could only watch 2 films for the rest of your life, what 2 and why?
Legally Blonde. And Elf.
Oh my god, your life is so happy.
So happy.
Or it's like so sad that's what I need.
I just mean like in the movies, you just get to be with Elf and he's like eating all the maple syrup.
Yeah.
And also an iconic pasta scene.
Just like this movie has one.
Exactly.
I just wanted some pasta.
We've all been there. Sometimes it's every Saturday. I Almost Famous is just a movie that like I don't know. I just always think about that movie. And I think in the realm of this movie, in conversation with this movie, also Napoleon Dynamite. Like
Yeah, those are good.
We'll have the 2 DVD. We'll each have our 2 DVDs, and then we can like swap. I know that's like something in your question, but
do you know how many times I've seen Napoleon Dynamite and still laugh every single time? That is a great choice.
What's your freaking time?
Part?
Mine?
Yeah.
That's easy. Mine would be It Happened One Night and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind because I want to be sad and happy.
Yeah, those are good.
Really good.
I like romantic comedies too, so
Yeah.
Why not choose the first and the best? So
Yeah.
I love that. Now, is there anything else you want to say to all of the beautiful people out there before I let you guys go? And also thank you guys for speaking with me today. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us. I think that this movie is really a moment for when you do go home and you've been with your family for too long and you've realized I should have headed home yesterday. That's the perfect time to watch this movie.
And I would say if you've been kind of trying to decide if you should buy that neon bobbed wig for a rainy day, today is the rainy day and you definitely need it.
Well, luckily I already have one because one of my roommates dressed up as Coraline for Halloween, so we have a bright blue one just in the back here.
You're
That's
ready to be a
amazing.
Cosmo Sister.
Yeah,
You
I'm
actually
ready.
are a Cosmo Sister now.
Now,
Welcome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Welcome to
I
the
feel,
family.
Thank you. I guess you guys need a new singer. I've got you.
Well, we don't need a new singer, but Nora's guitar is a little thin, so if you could take over for that.
I can play bass too.
Perfect.
Yeah. If you could just play all the instruments, I'll play.
I actually can.
Triangle and kazoo. I think that's where my strong suit.
I can play everything but the drums, actually. So I've got you guys. I got you. Thank you guys so much, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Whitney, Uland, and Nora Kaye for the Cosmos Sisters. If everybody wanted to follow you, can they, and where do they?
Yeah, I'm spend most of my days on Instagram at Whitney Uland.
And I'm at Nokaye, Nokaye.
Love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for Film Snob Reviews. This has been William, and we'll see you next time.